A white rhino stands at the edge of a dry watering hole. Its skin is thick, cracked, gray with dust. But underneath the dust, something else moves. Ticks, hundreds of them. Clustered in the folds behind its ears, packed into the creases of its neck, buried at the base of its horn. The rhino shakes its head. It flicks one ear, then the other. It rubs its shoulder hard against the dead acacia trunk. None of it works. Its eyesight is poor, almost useless past a few meters. It cannot see what is biting it. It can only feel it. Then a brown shadow drops out of the sky. A red-billed oxpecker lands on the rhino's shoulder. Small claws grip into thick skin. 200 grams of bird, standing on 2,000 kilograms of animal. Tiny feet on giant skin. It does not fly off. The rhino does not flinch. This is not the first time. The oxpecker begins to climb, up the shoulder, along the ridge of the neck, toward the base of the skull. Its claws find grip in every crease. Its tail presses flat against the hide for balance, the way a woodpecker braces against bark. Then it reaches the ear. The ear folds forward, thick and leathery, lined with short bristled hair. And inside that fold, dozens of ticks sit engorged, gray-brown, swollen with blood already taken. The bird tilts its head. It looks. Then its bill goes in. Deep into the ear canal, along the ridges of cartilage, around the base, where the fold meets the skull. One tick disappears, then another, then another. The rhino's ear twitches once, then goes still. The oxpecker works in short, sharp motions. Peck, pause, peck. Its bill is flattened at the sides, built for exactly this, sliding sideways through hair and skin, prying into gaps too narrow for anything else. It is not gentle, it does not need to be. Around the eye next, the skin here is thinner, more sensitive, ringed with folds where dust and insects collect. The bird works along the rim, careful, patient, plucking at anything small enough to grip. The rhino's eye stays open, watching nothing, trusting the shape on its face. Then down to the horn. At the base, where keratin meets skin, a different kind of buildup gathers. Dried mud, flaking skin, insect eggs pressed into the cracks. The oxpecker picks through it methodically, working the same 2 centimeters again and again until it is clean. A second bird arrives, then a third. They spread across the rhino's body like a small crew, given separate assignments. One works the far ear. One moves down the neck into the folds of loose skin at the shoulder. One drops lower still, toward the belly, where the skin is thinnest, and the ticks cluster heaviest. Each bird has its own patch. Rarely do 2 work the same fold at once. Instinct, or simple efficiency, keeps them spread across the body like tiles on a roof. The one at the shoulder finds a tick, lodged where a wrinkle folds over itself, a hiding place invisible unless the skin is pulled apart. The bird braces its tail, angles its head sideways, and pries the fold open with its bill before striking. One tick, then the next. The rhythm never quickens. It never needs to. Lower down, at the belly, the skin is pale, almost pink, softer than anywhere else on the body. Ticks gather here in small, dark clusters, feeding where the hide offers the least resistance. The bird working this patch moves slower, more careful, stepping lightly to keep its footing on the curve of the stomach. Near the tail, a fourth bird arrives, drawn by movement. It works through the coarse hair at the base, flicking loose flakes of dry skin, tossing aside anything that is not food. The rhino's breathing slows. Its eyes drift half-closed. Its ears still now, no longer flick at anything. For an animal built to survive by staying alert, this is close to rest. Around it, the watering hole carries on. A pair of egrets wade through the shallows nearby, unbothered by the giant beside them. A dragonfly hovers, drops, lifts again. Dust drifts sideways in the low wind. Behind the tree line, a warthog trots past, tail raised in no particular hurry. None of it disturbs the rhino. None of it disturbs the birds. Animal's body, fold by fold, crease by crease. Shoulder, belly, tail. By the time they finish the first pass, the rhino has not moved more than a few steps. Then, almost as if on cue, the birds shift again. One returns to the ear, checking a spot already picked clean. Another moves back to the horn base, searching the same crack in the keratin. The cleaning is never really finished. It only slows. At one point, the rhino shifts its weight, and the bird on its belly loses its grip. Wings snap open, a short flutter, a quick correction, and its claws find the hide again before it falls. The rhino does not react. It has felt far worse than a startled bird resettling on its skin. A single oxpecker can strip hundreds of ticks from a host in a single day, sometimes more when the infestation is heavy. Multiply that across 4 or 5 birds working the same animal, and the volume becomes difficult to picture. Thousands of small bodies, removed one at a time, fold by fold, week after week, for as long as the partnership holds. None of it happens quickly, none of it happens carelessly. Every strike of the bill lands somewhere specific, a crease, a wrinkle, a hollow behind the jaw. Chosen not at random, but because something small and full of blood is hiding there, and the bird already knows where to look. But modern cameras mounted on rhinos across several reserves have shown something researchers did not expect. Many of the ticks the oxpeckers eat are already full, already fed, already finished draining the rhino before the bird ever arrives. For the tick, the meal is over either way. For the oxpecker, a swollen tick simply carries more blood, more calories, more reward. The bird is not choosing to help. It is choosing the easiest meal. And the oxpecker does not always stop at ticks. Where skin is broken, where a wound is healing, the bird sometimes returns. Not to clean it, to reopen it. A few precise strikes of the bill, and a scab that had begun to close is raw again. Blood, warm and immediate, requires far less effort than prying a tick from deep inside an ear fold. It will also take what many people assume is simply grooming. Earwax, flakes of dead skin, dandruff caught in the coarse hair along the neck. None of it is parasite. All of it is food. Scientists studying similar birds on cattle found something stranger still. They divided a herd in 2. One group kept its usual oxpeckers. The other had the birds removed for a month, fenced off, kept away entirely. The result surprised almost everyone involved. The cattle without oxpeckers did not carry more ticks. Wounds on their hides healed faster, not slower. And when researchers examined the ticks the birds actually ate, most were already swollen, already fed, already finished with the host before the bird arrived at all. The parasite had done its damage regardless. The oxpecker simply collected what was left over. That single detail changes the shape of the whole relationship. A tick removed before it feeds saves the host blood and disease risk. A tick removed after it feeds saves the host nothing. It has already taken what it came for. The bird still gets a meal either way. From the outside, both moments look identical. A bird bends down. A tick disappears. Only the timing decides whether it counted as help. Nature is not always clean. It is not always gentle. The rhino tolerates the picking at its wounds the same way it tolerates the ticks themselves. Not because it understands the difference, but because the alternative, standing alone with the parasites, is worse. Researchers are still divided on what to call this. Some point to hosts that carry heavier tick burdens and argue the birds do provide a real, measurable service. Choosing the most infested animals precisely because there is the most to gain from cleaning them. Others point to the wounds, the wax, the swollen ticks, and call it something closer to opportunism, wearing the appearance of help. The truth, most agree, sits somewhere between the two, shifting from one rhino to the next, one wound to the next, 1 hour to the next. A few researchers have gone further still, tracking which hosts oxpeckers choose when given options. The birds do not settle on the thickest hide, or the calmest animal, or the one standing closest. They settle on the one carrying the most ticks. Thicker skin offers more protection from a peck that goes wrong. But it is the parasite load that decides where the birds land, again and again, across dozens of hosts and hundreds of hours of footage. Whatever else the relationship is, it is not random. There is, though, one thing the oxpecker gives back that no camera can measure in blood or protein. Its call. A rhino's eyes are almost useless. It cannot see a human crouched 50 meters away, downwind, moving slowly through dry grass. But the oxpecker can. And when it senses danger, it does not go quiet. It does not fly. It screams. A sharp rattling alarm, repeated, urgent, impossible to ignore. The birds on a rhino's back rise together, circling, calling, marking the exact position of whatever has approached. In parts of East Africa, the red-billed oxpecker carries an old name for exactly this reason. Researchers who tested this walked toward wild black rhinos on open ground, again and again, from different directions, at different distances, always staying downwind so the rhino's nose could offer no warning of its own. Rhinos carrying oxpeckers detected the approaching humans far more often than rhinos without them nearby. In several cases, a rhino with birds on its back reacted to danger it could not possibly have seen or smelled on its own. Turning, tensing, moving away, seconds after the alarm call began. In a landscape where a slow, careful human with a rifle can mean the end of an already endangered animal, a screaming bird overhead is not a small thing. It may be the difference between a rhino that survives the week and one that does not. Parasite, sentinel, both depending on the hour. By late afternoon, the light over the watering hole turns gold and low. The oxpeckers lift off the rhino's back one by one, circling once, then settling into the branches of a nearby acacia. The rhino lowers its head and returns to grazing, unbothered, as if nothing happened at all. Its ears are quieter now, not clean, never fully clean, but quieter. Tomorrow, the ticks will return, feeding again in the same folds, the same creases, the same hidden places a rhino can never reach alone. And the oxpeckers will return with them, not out of loyalty, not out of friendship, but because a rhino's body is, and always has been, one of the richest feeding grounds on the savanna. Somewhere across the reserve, another rhino stands alone tonight, without birds, without the rattling alarm call, without the small crew working its ear folds. It will carry more ticks by morning. It will hear nothing coming until it is already close. A partnership built less on kindness than on convenience. And somehow, across millions of years, that has been enough to hold it together.